I'm over the fields and far away in the woods, as I usually am. It's where I belong. I was in town today, and now I hate going into town. It's really grim. It's really rough. It's it's depressing. I was waiting at the bus stop to go home, and then there was this drug addict kneeling on the floor, and he's like spitting and gobbing and shit all over the floor and whatever he was doing, and then he's like gobbing into his hands and trying to flick the phlegm off his fingers. It was just like, what are you doing? What is happening? Oh, it's rough. So then the bus finally arrives after almost half an hour of waiting, and these kids come off. I'm gonna call them kids of the urban youth. I'm not going to call them anything else because I'll probably get in trouble. I think you know what I mean by urban youth. Anyway, they come off the bus, and I'm standing there with some old people, some old, white people, and they come off the bus and they're screaming and shouting, and they're like, too fucking white, bruv, and all this sort of thing. I was like, what the fuck? And so I was looking around at everybody's faces, and everybody was looking down, right? Everybody just looked sort of like, oh, I'm not going to say anything. If I say something, I'll get in trouble. So yes. And it made me realise, we, as English people, we're defeated. We're completely, we're like docile zombies. We don't have NPCs. Nobody has an opinion of their own, and everybody is just scared. It's just too afraid to say anything. So they're just standing there, looking down, looking scared, And so I got on the bus and I went upstairs, took a seat, and I was just zoning out, looking out the window, listening to music. And then more of the urban youth start getting on the bus, right? And they come upstairs, and they're got their music blaring out, their hippity hop, the rap, I don't know what the fuck he was rapping about, something about society, racism, blah blah, in it bruv, and all this sort of thing. And I'm do you have to have it full volume? And again, people are just too scared to say anything because they're of a certain ethnicity, okay? People are just sitting there quietly, We are, me, I am fucking sick of their culture, right? So obnoxious, and it's so irritating, right? We are English. We have our own fucking culture. We exist here. We're fucking native, right? We were here first, and now we're fucking defeated people who just sit there quietly, like good little boys, as the fucking urban youth come on and make all this noise and complain about fucking racism and point at you and say, too white, Fuck off then. This isn't your homeland, is it? Now, I think if there's going to be a war, which I think there probably will be, again, no one's going to fucking fight, right? No one's going to fight. No one's going to give a shit. You know, the foreigners in this country, you know, the people who are black and brown and whatever else, they don't give a fuck about this country. Let's be honest. They are only British when it suits them, okay? If there was a war, they would fucking scatter or come up with some kind of excuse not to fight. Oh, it's against my religion or something, you know. But they're not going to fucking fight. They don't give a shit. And then you've got the native whites, right? The proper English people, the salt of the earth, the people, the patriotic people who are going to fight, you know, regardless of what's going on. They're not going to fucking fight. It's like World War II, that generation's long gone, right? They're fucking gone. There's no one like that today. And the people today are depressed, miserable, fucking... Like, they're not... None of us are going to fucking fight. We don't give a shit. We don't give a shit either. I mean... Russia doesn't even... They don't even need to nuke us, right? They don't even need to fucking nuke the British Isles. They can just land in fucking Dover or wherever and just sweep on through with their fucking tanks and roll on through in every major city throughout the country. And they won't face any opposition because the black and brown people, they'll all fuck off. They'll all fucking go home. And then... and us, normal people, would be like, oh, okay. Oh, well, you know. And it'll be all over the news, like, Britain has now become West Russia. And we're like, okay, that's fine. You know. No one gives a shit anymore. No one fucking cares. We're a defeated people, a defeated nation in a decaying Western civilization. No one gives a shit anymore. Like they're concerned about, you know, we don't have the army to defend ourselves anymore. I wonder why. I wonder why. You know, it's we have grown up in a different world, and I mean, it's changed rapidly in just my lifetime, right? Like, you know, we now all we get on the television, all through like the media and everything else, and even in the schooling system, right, is white people are bad, or white people have no culture, or the Anglo-Saxons never existed because Europe was always diverse, right? And that's the bullshit we get like fed to us all the fucking time. That's why I'm off grid. That's why I don't fucking watch the telly. That's why I don't give a shit what they have to say, because it's not true, right? You know, so we don't, like, we need a strong man, right, to set an example and basically stand up and say, well, this should have happened to begin with, right? When this bullshit, this Marxist nonsense starts infesting like into every facet of our culture, we needed a man to set an example and tell them to pack their shit and get out. You know, no ifs, no buts, just get the fuck out. Just as simple as that, you know. But we don't have men like that anymore, you know. And, you know, I'm talking about the patriarchy. The patriarchy would have got fucking shit done. Now, women can do what they like, I don't give a shit. But a man who sets an example and gets shit done, that's what we need, right? Someone who's like stronger than Nigel Farage, is what I'm saying. Who's like old-fashioned, blunt, to the point, but has common sense and believes in traditional values and fucking says no to woke nonsense, okay? And like, yeah. Anyway, But anyway, it's yeah, it's very defeating, and that is just the face of this country at the moment. We need to start over. There's no such thing as a strong male role model leader anymore. Like, there doesn't exist. There's no such thing. We need to start over. We need a fucking reset. You know, we need to just destroy this country and build a new one. It's over. We're done. Isn't it? Like, what was the point of, like, the Cold War? You know, when you have Marxist and communist nonsense that, you know, has just swept through the Western world now, you know. So what was the point of the fucking Cold War? Because they ended up winning in the end. The communists ended up fucking winning in the end. But there's like articles and shit like that says, like, the Anglo-Saxons, oh, they never existed, you know, Britain has always been diverse, there's no such thing as an Anglo-Saxon. Of course. You see, I blame boomers. I blame the boomers. They just let this happen, you know. They just sat back and let it happen. But they live in bubbles, right? They live in bubbles. They went to fucking university and were like, oh, what are you talking about? The English people won't be replaced? No. The black and brown people from the, you know, the third world, they actually, the ones I know are doctors and scientists. They have no idea. They have absolutely no idea. These people, like Tyrone and Shaniqua, right, are making our country, right, our towns and our cities into fucking crime-ridden shitholes. These people are from the third world. Why would we need help from the fucking third world, right? We, the English, we created the British Empire, right? We created the biggest and greatest empire in human history. Why the fuck would we need help from the third world? The people who were in positions of power after the Second World War, who allowed these people to come in, they are to blame. They are to blame for the situation we are in now. And gradually, you had more softer and softer people who replaced them, and they made things just a little bit worse. And gradually through time, this country just got a little bit worse, a little bit worse, a little bit worse, until you come to the last 20 years. And then we were defeated. We were done. That's it. It's over. There's going to be a war, and no one's going to fucking care. Let it come. Let it come. I mean, I'll be here. I'll be here in the fucking woods, you know. I'll be chilling here. I don't care what's going on. Nothing to do with me. I didn't vote for Starmer. I didn't vote at all. Democracy it's failed us. Who cares anymore? What's the point of having for being political or having a political opinion? It doesn't matter. We're fucked. It's over. Nothing matters anymore. There was a time when things did matter, but nothing matters now. It's over. We're finished. You could say that it all stems from World War II. know, whenever I'm in town, I just observe and I watch, and there's usually a police car about, you know. There's usually a police car about for something, and people are either addicted to drugs, or you got the urban youth causing trouble, or you got fucking whoever else from a different ethnicity hanging about and up to something, you know. And I've noticed that you have people of a certain ethnicity who are wearing Palestine bracelets, right? And you know, they glare they fucking just glare at people. They glare at you. You know, they have a chip on their shoulder, and I don't really know why, because us English, most of us are not Jewish, and most of us are not Muslim, and we don't want to get involved in that conflict that is thousands of miles away, that we couldn't give a shit about. I don't care about Russia. I don't care about Ukraine. I don't care about the Muslims. I don't care about the Jews. I'm not interested. I don't give a shit. I don't think we should go to war against anyone. I think the real war is a spiritual war, and it's happening in our own country, and it's a war we have to figure out. We have to focus on ourselves. We have to look inwards instead of outwards. I'm not on anybody's side, because nobody is on my side. I don't give a fuck. It's a nice day over here. It's very isolated, secluded. There's no one about whatsoever, you know, it's peaceful. And you, like myself, I feel connected, I feel rooted to this land, to this place. There are certain people in this country who have no connection to this place, who will never have any connection to this place. Their ancestors come from the desert. They come from the savannah. They come from possibly the jungle. Europe could not be more different than any of those places. Maybe this was all planned. The direction of Western civilization, maybe this was all planned. But like I say, the boomers let this happen. Look, you don't have a strong man to say, no, fuck off. No, that's ridiculous, we're not doing that. We just didn't have anybody like that. When we should have done. In our urgent time of need. There you go. It's, no clouds in the sky today. There's no stink of petrol. It's just fresh air. And that's all there is in town. It just stinks of shit. It either literally stinks of open sewers, right? Or it stinks of petrol from all the cars and all the fucking buses, or cannabis. But out here, there's nothing but fresh air, peace and quiet. frog there. Little frog. This is just turning into ASMR now. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm just alone a lot of the time and just stuck with myself and my thoughts that or I'm watching a film, or I get a Blu-ray, get myself a new Blu-ray or something, and I'll sit in and I'll watch something. I mean, I'll literally watch anything, you know. I'll watch anything that's it doesn't matter to me how old it is or what country it comes from. It doesn't matter. I'll watch anything. Nothing matters. It doesn't matter to me, you know. As long as it's got a good story. I've got thousands of stuff. I've got Blu-rays, DVDs, books. You know, I've got loads of books on like history and Anglo-Saxon history. I've got a copy of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. So I sit in my armchair and I sit there and I read a book. I've got the Lord of the Rings, of course. I've got all sorts of different books. And yes, I've got lots and lots and lots of games. It's just stuff I've accumulated over the last, what, I don't know, since I got an Xbox 360, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I got. They're all my stuff is organised. They're all on shelves and stuff, and it's like specific genres and all that sort of thing. There's lots of different stuff. There's samurai movies. Lots and lots of samurai movies. You know, sometimes I get something that's quite obscure that has never been released on DVD or Blu-ray in the UK before, and so I pick that up and I watch it. You know, I read the synopsis and think that sounds good. I'll pick it up. It could be a American release or a Australian release. If it's not available in the UK, it's fine because I've got a Blu-ray player that plays anything, so that's all right. Yeah, I've got thousands of CDs, thousands. I've got lots of Star Trek, lots of Doctor Who. I don't watch these shows anymore. Like, I don't watch what they're doing now. I don't give a shit. I watch proper Star Trek and proper Doctor Who. Okay. Sometimes I go back and watch a classic Doctor Who story or something, or one of the best Star Trek episodes. Chain of Command is one of my favourites. Yeah. What else have I got? I've got loads of science fiction. Loads of oh yeah, I have literally a massive storage unit all just filled with you know, silent films, like the early films, obviously Nosferatu. There's Trip to the Moon. There's loads. it's all organised. It's all organised chronologically, in like date of release. So yeah, and yeah. So it's interesting to me to watch a silent film from like the 1920s or something, because that's 100 years ago. It's a completely different time, you know. It's quite eerie, I suppose. You know. Yeah. But yeah, I've got loads. I just got. Oh yeah, I got a whole like section for like French films, like French New Wave, French like drama films, or well, whatever's seems to be any good. Anything with a good story, like I say. There's yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. That's for sure. What else? Yeah, so I've got lots of Japanese films, lots of excuse me, lots of Japanese films, lots of all sorts of different things. I got Ingmar Bergman movies as well. They can be good. Well, sometimes they can be good. Sometimes, you know, I like the story of Fanny and Alexander. That was alright. The Wild Strawberries. Now, you know, that should be watched. That should be watched by more people. That's a very good film. That's a very good film. About an old Victor Sjöström, I think that's his name, a Swedish filmmaker from like the 1920s, and Ingmar Bergman made him the lead in his film Wild Strawberries. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. It's very worth watching. Yeah. Yeah, so that's me. That's me. You could say, why the fuck do you get all that shit? You know, why? What's the point? I mean, isn't it obvious? Is it not obvious? I've got nothing else going on. I've got nothing else going on. That's why. I've got nothing that gets me up in the morning. This shit does. You know, if I buy a new Blu-ray and I think, oh, it's gonna arrive today, and then, you know, it gets me up early so I can receive it and then watch it. You know, it's pathetic, but that's all there is to it. That really is it. There's nothing else to it. I've got nothing else going on. I just I wish that I had someone to share it with, but I don't. So it is what it is. Obviously, finding a girlfriend is too much to ask for. Seems to be too difficult. Oh well, fuck it. I'll just be this recluse who lives in the woods, who exists in the woods all the time. You know, this creature, which an urban legend, I suppose. This folklore creature that exists only in these woods. I've decided not to edit this video. Can't be bothered. I'm just going to let it run and yeah, see what I have to say, I guess. Ah, I'm walking past my den. Yes. I think in the late summertime, I made this sort of, there's like a tree that's come down, right? And so what I've done is I've gone around the woods and I've collected bits of like branches and stuff, like, and collected all this shit and basically put it up against this this branch, that's this bigger branch that's kind of sticking up here. So I put all these pieces of wood and all these branches, laid them against the big branch, right, and kind of created what looks like a shelter. I've made shelters before. I've always made shelters over the woods. Yes, that's how you would know that I'm about. You know, it's my den. You can tell that someone's been active over here, or something. You know. Yeah. There's kind of like a fire pit in the circle, in the centre, and it's kind of like in a circular shape with these tree trunks and that are acting like benches. Yeah, it's probably it's a really good idea to if you want to go camping. You build this kind of shelter out of wood, right? And then you put I mean, when it's been raining, you know, and you build a shelter out of wood, and then you put the tent underneath the shelter, and it protects the tent from the rain, because the rain hits the shelter, and it's obviously all the branches are at an angle, so the water will just run down, you know. You probably don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway, that's what I do. That's yeah, yeah. Ooh, the river is flooded. Yes, it's rather flooded. Interesting. There's a tree that's kind of really, it's not like straight up, it's like hanging over. So I think what I could do is sort of climb the tree and just hop over to the other side. I'm not going to do that right now because I've got my phone in my hand, and if I don't exactly want to drop it in the murky depths. Yeah. It's it's probably hard to explain what well, it's probably hard to sort of explain how I feel about the woods and what it means to me, what and this sort of solitude. It's really it's just really nice. It's really peaceful. It's what I'm used to. You know, I've been coming here ever since I was a little kid. When I've thought about this a lot, actually. When I watched the movie It, the remake, and you've got the little kids, right? And they kind of, it looks like to me, they live in this kind of like rural sort of town, right? and you got this group of kids, and then there becomes the loser, whatever, the loser team, whatever they're called. Ooh, the birds are noisy. I think that watching that film, I kind of find that really unrealistic. Well, it's probably that kind of situation probably happens somewhere, but I didn't experience that myself. I wish I did. I wish I had a group of friends that I hung out with after school over the fields and in the woods and stuff, but I didn't. Just didn't. I don't know. Well, like when I was at school, everybody used to play COD, and that's literally all they used to talk about. Playing COD, multiplayer or whatever. So nobody would come out. I never met anybody like in person. Nobody wanted to do anything, because I'll be like, hey, you want to go for a bike ride, or go for a walk over the woods, or want to do something in person, physically, and actually do something. But no, and a lot of people just looked at me and thought, oh, you're fucking boring, bruv, and all this sort of thing. So I wish I had that. I mean, there's probably time and place, like when I was growing up, nobody, well, even now, nobody comes out anymore, nobody does anything. So I think maybe it's the time. Maybe I should have been born in like the 80s or whenever, You fucking mental dog. What are you doing? Anyway, shit. Yes, I got this old creature that, most of the time he's sleepy and tired, but he's having a moment, jumping up at me and running around in circles and running about 50 meters away and then running back again. Anyway, I can't remember what I'm saying now. Oh, mental, you are. He's usually quite quiet. Anyway, what was I saying? I probably should have been born in the 80s or the 70s or the 80s or something, and maybe that would have happened, And it could actually be the place as well, because the place that I live it's a place where people come to retire. It's a village that it's just populated by old people. So I didn't stand much of a chance growing up, to be honest. And also, like, a girl hanging out with them, in their little loser group. That's not realistic. That's not realistic. None of the girls wanted to know. None of the girls wanted to get involved or anything in what boys did. Well, nobody really wanted to get involved with me. I was the weird, quiet lad, and I never connected with anybody, and I was kind of used as like, I'll just hang out with you, because my proper mate isn't here. So I was the disposable mate, and that's how it was for me. But yeah, I watch these films or TV shows and stuff about kids and stuff, and they're growing up and they live in some kind of rural town or some kind of village or something, and they go out and they hang out and they ride their bikes, they go over the fields, they go in the woods and whatever, and they just do stuff, and they have this long-lasting friendship and all that sort of thing. And this is all shit that I just didn't have at all. I didn't experience myself. So it is what it is, I'm afraid. Time and place. Yeah, that might have been it. Yeah, maybe it would have happened if I went to a different school. Maybe if I mixed with different people, hopefully mixed with the right people. I don't know. I mean, it's I mean, it's well too late for that. Well too late. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I think about sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. When I left school, I didn't have. Nobody wanted to know. Nobody wanted to know. They didn't want to stay in touch with me or anything. They all went off, did their thing, you know, wherever they went. Fine. I was just left behind. Yeah, just out of time. Just born in the wrong time. I'm too old-fashioned. Well, then again, I grew up without any internet. Everybody else had internet and stuff like that. I didn't. And they'll talk about things that, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're telling me. I had this like old Windows 98 PC that, you know, you had to fucking crank up the thing to actually get it working, because it take for ages to come on. And the first game I ever played was Age of Empires. That was the first game. Yeah, a long time ago. And so as a kid, I didn't really know about the internet or anything, and I didn't really care. I didn't really care enough to, because yeah, I just had a completely different upbringing to everybody else. Like completely different. So far removed, basically. Yeah. Oh well. But yeah. Well, I think I should probably go home, and this old dog he probably wants to go to bed, so I'll get him home and make us tea, and then I'll probably slap together something for myself, and just I don't know, stick on a film. Yeah. Yeah, I make lists, you know. I make lists of things that I want to pick up, basically. Yeah, and the same list. So, like last year, this list had what? About 1,500 like Blu-rays, DVDs and shit like that I wanted to basically pick up. Things I wanted to sit and watch. Now, that list is now, there's 360 left on that list. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I think I've got everything I could possibly be interested in on that list, and 360 left. That's you know, I've made a pretty big dent. Well, I think I've made an even larger dent over the last probably 20 years or so. I've got fucking loads. So like, out of all the stuff I've ever wanted to get, I'm like down to, let's say, the last 4%. The last 4% that I desire to own. So that's not bad. But yeah, I'll just be an old hermit sitting in my home with my fucking library of stacks of fucking shit, of just bits of plastic. Oh mate, oh that's grim. Yeah. Well, I think this has gone on long enough. Probably don't want to listen to any more of this. So, goodbye.